We all love a good bet on a race, especially if it's a pod race in Star Wars. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at how criminal syndicates make money off of racetracks inside of the Star Wars universe. And of course, we all know that the Hutts control Tatooine and the pod racing circuit there, the Boonta Eve Classic being the most popular race. And on Serlonis, criminal syndicates use Riot Racing to generate money. So let's take a look at how these two racetracks make money. And obviously money is generated from the stadium attendees and live audience, and also intergalactic gambling between planets. And on Tatooine, Fode and Bede broadcasts the pod race across the galaxy, seen in cantinas all over Star Wars. People bet in person and through their local bookie, which most likely works for the Hutts. And I would assume that for a cantina to show the live broadcasts of the pod race, that they would have to be in the business with the Hutts one way or another, whether it's a share of the profits the cantinas use for smuggling or business meetings. Cantinas are known across the galaxy to be owned by criminal syndicates. On smaller planets like Serlonis, the Sofatoma Speedway is the hotbed for criminal activity and opportunities to make money. Riot Racing was the most popular at this speedway, so droids were as common as organic racers, allowing normal mechanics to build a bike and droid to race it. But the games were often rigged by the local criminal syndicates, who guaranteed wins and their profits. Think of the speedway as a different avenue for criminal syndicates to compete, and the winner gets the money. And casualties are of course part of the deal. And on Kankanika, members of the Empire gamble on father racing, a bit more sophisticated, but it's still the same thing, where deals and business is conducted. And live events are often controlled by different criminal syndicates across the galaxy, like gladiatorial arenas, which were used by local crime groups or the Haxian Brood, broadcasting their fights across the galaxy. And the raceways and arenas provided criminal syndicates with a motherlode of opportunity as well, either in betting or in trade. Gambling money, ships, droids, weapons, slaves, everything was on the table, and the racetracks were the opportunity where you could find it. And think about how Qui-Gon Jinn actually acquires Anakin. He gambles his ship with Watto for his slave boy. And in Star Wars, crime is kinda unlimited. You could gamble on a pod race, win a slave Wookiee, and then employ them in gladiatorial arenas, and then sell them to the Pikes to mine spice to make more money. And that's just kind of like a brief glimpse of the Star Wars underworld. And think about how much crime actually happens at racetracks in the Star Wars universe. I mean, even the people racing in the event often have illegal hacks from slicers, and think about what gets traded at spaceports nearby as well. Everything from slaves being brought by the Zygerians, Trandoshans, and the Haxian Brood, and spice and other drugs were brought by the Pikes. And of course the Hutts kind of keep it more strictly business, kind of keeping the whole criminal empire operation running, and these racetracks are big business. This is why the Hutts control one on Tatooine, and that's why local places around the Star Wars universe kind of have their own individual live entertainment, and how that kind of weaves in with criminal syndicates. I mean, if you think about any scene where a Star Wars character is in a cantina, in the background you can usually find live events being broadcasted across the galaxy, whether it's pod racing or illegal gladiatorial arenas. And guess who typically is running the cantina and the event? It's criminal syndicates. So I do like how Star Wars kind of adds little bits and little tidbits of Star Wars lore that you kind of don't see right in front of your face, but obviously everything is ran by the criminal syndicates for these types of things, and it's just kind of cool to see and break it down. Pod racing was popular on many planets in Star Wars, such as Malastare, Kurgan, Theron, Kankanika, and Tatooine. And of course, local or smaller planets held races within themselves, whether it was with machine or by creature. So racing is definitely something we see in Star Wars quite a bit. It may not be a big live event or a bigger event within the universe, but something like Riot Racing was pretty cool to see, where on an individual planet they have a motor speedway for their entertainment. And I just love the addition of more events happening in Star Wars. And like all the lore behind Riot Racing, where droids typically do it because it's super dangerous, and then obviously it's like 50-50 if a droid or a organic creature is doing the race. And then even in Star Wars Hunters, where live events is kind of being expanded, on that planet Vespara, which is where the game takes place, the arena takes place all within there, and I don't think there's much going on Vespara besides the actual arena within that game, which I think is canon, but nonetheless it's definitely being ran by criminal syndicates for sure, absolutely. So that's how motor speedways and criminal syndicates go hand in hand inside of the Star Wars universe. So with that, subscribe if you would like, and until next video, goodbye.